You open your banking app. You see the number. It's smaller than it should be. You just got paid 4 days ago, and already you're wondering where it went. You tell yourself you'll do better next month. You've told yourself that before. But the real answer is far stranger than willpower or budgeting or discipline. Your brain was never built to save. It was built to survive the next 24 hours. For almost all of human history, there was no such thing as a bank account. There was no such thing as tomorrow's paycheck. There was only what you could eat today and what you might not have tomorrow. Your ancestors lived in a world of immediate scarcity, where a piece of fruit not eaten now might be a piece of fruit stolen by someone else or spoiled by tonight's heat. So your brain built a rule, a simple one. Resources in hand are worth taking now because resources in the future are not guaranteed to exist. That rule kept your ancestors alive. It is also, right now, quietly draining your bank account. Economists call this present bias. The idea is simple. You value a reward today far more than the same reward tomorrow, even when tomorrow's reward is objectively better. Researcher Richard Thaler, one of the founding figures of behavioral economics, spent decades studying exactly this pattern. He noticed something odd about how people actually behave with money compared to how classical economic models assumed they should behave. People weren't rational calculators quietly optimizing their future. They were creatures of the immediate moment, again and again choosing the smaller reward now over the larger reward later. Ask yourself this: would you rather have $500 today or $600 in 1 month? Most people choose the $500. Even though waiting 1 month for an extra $100 is, mathematically, one of the best returns you'll ever get on anything. But your brain doesn't run the math. It runs the ancient rule. Take it now. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. This is where the story gets stranger. In the 1970s, a psychologist named Walter Mischel ran an experiment that would later become famous. He sat young children down in a room with a single marshmallow. He told them they could eat it right away, or they could wait a few minutes. And if they waited, they would get a second marshmallow as a reward. Some children grabbed it instantly. Others squirmed, covered their eyes, sat on their hands, and somehow made it to the reward. The marshmallow test became a symbol of willpower. But later research revealed something more interesting than willpower alone. The children's environment mattered. Children who had grown up in unpredictable settings, where promises were sometimes broken, where a reward offered later sometimes never arrived, were far less likely to wait. Why would they wait for a second marshmallow in a world that had taught them rewards disappear? This is the same pattern hiding inside your relationship with money. If your early life, or even your current life, has taught you that stability is unreliable, your brain quietly assumes the future is unreliable too. Saving money requires believing that the future version of you will actually get to enjoy it. Take that belief away, even slightly, and saving stops feeling smart. It starts feeling like a bet you might lose. Your brain isn't broken when it struggles to save. It's doing exactly what evolution designed it to do. Now here is the twist you didn't expect. Modern money doesn't look, feel, or behave like the resources your brain evolved to manage. Ancient scarcity was physical. It was a piece of meat, a handful of berries, a fire that needed feeding. You could see it. You could feel its weight in your hands. Losing it was immediate and obvious. Money today is invisible. It moves through a screen. It disappears into a tap of your phone, a swipe of your card, an automatic subtraction you never see happen. Neuroscientist Antonio Damasio spent years studying how the brain uses physical, bodily sensations to guide decision-making, a concept sometimes called the somatic marker hypothesis. In simple terms, your body flags decisions with a felt sense before your conscious mind even understands why. Handing over a physical dollar bill creates a small, real pang of loss. Tapping a card creates almost nothing. There is no pang. There is no weight leaving your hand. Your ancient brain evolved to feel loss. Modern spending is engineered to remove that feeling entirely. This is not an accident. It is, in many cases, a design choice. Contactless payments, one-click checkouts, subscription services that silently renew, they all share a single goal, whether their designers admit it or not. Remove the friction. Remove the pang. Remove the moment where your ancient warning system might fire and say, wait, do we actually need this? So what happens when you take a brain built for immediate physical scarcity and hand it invisible, frictionless, always available money? You spend like your ancestors ate, quickly, instinctively, without waiting for tomorrow, because tomorrow was never something they could count on. There is a name for what happens next, and it isn't laziness. Economist Sendhil Mullainathan, along with psychologist Eldar Shafir, studied what scarcity does to the mind itself, not just to behavior. They found that when people are under financial strain, their mental bandwidth narrows. The brain becomes so consumed with the immediate pressure of not having enough that it has less cognitive capacity left over for long-term planning. This isn't a character flaw. It's closer to a kind of tunnel vision, one that scarcity forces onto anyone who experiences it, regardless of intelligence or effort. Think about that for a moment. The very stress of not having enough money makes it harder to think clearly about money. It's a loop. Scarcity narrows your thinking. Narrowed thinking makes saving harder. Harder saving deepens the scarcity. Around and around it goes. And it has nothing to do with how smart you are or how hard you try. So where does that leave you? Not powerless. Understanding the loop is the first way out of it. Once you know your brain evolved for physical immediate resources, you can start rebuilding the physical cues your ancestors relied on. Some people find that using cash for discretionary spending brings the pang back. When you hand over a real bill and watch it leave your hand, the ancient warning system reactivates, and suddenly spending feels like spending again, instead of an invisible tap. Others use automation to remove the decision entirely, not by fighting the ancient impulse, but by never letting it enter the equation. If saving happens automatically the moment your paycheck arrives, before your present biased brain even sees the money, you've sidestepped the ancient rule instead of trying to override it in the moment. You cannot out-willpower a system built over millions of years, but you can quietly redesign the environment it operates in. This is the real lesson hiding underneath every budgeting app, every savings hack, every finance guru's advice. You are not bad with money. You are ancient with money. Your brain is running software built for a world of immediate physical danger and scarcity, dropped into a modern world of invisible digital abundance. The mismatch between those two worlds is where your financial stress actually lives. Every time you feel that small flash of guilt after an impulsive purchase, that isn't weakness. That's a 5-million-year-old alarm system misfiring in an environment it was never built to understand. You open your banking app. You see the number. It's smaller than it should be. But this time, you understand exactly why. And understanding why has always been the first step toward changing what happens next.